What is up, guys? It's TimeForDillon back at it again with another programming tutorial. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are awesome. If you're new here, we're going to be finishing up our introductory series, teaching you guys how to program in Python using ChatGPT. In today's video, we're going to be doing lesson number 6, the last one in this series, talking all about functions. So let's head on over to sololearn.com and see what today's lesson has in store for us. Let's get it. Alrighty guys, so here we are at sololearn.com. As you guys can see, this is the last lesson in our introductory to Python series. After that, you guys are going to have your own certificate to show to your future employers or show to your future DEGENs that are going to be hiring you to code on their blockchain projects, baby. Let's get it. So in the first couple videos, right, the first couple lessons, we covered all the basics. We got started with, some basic data types, talked about strings, integers, outputting some data. We went a little bit deeper, talked about debugging, some naming conventions in Python. Then we started working with the data. We started taking input from the user. We started correcting data types, right? Changing ints to strings so that we can output everything in one cohesive line. Super cool. Then we talked about control flow. I even introduced some new topics to you guys using ChatGPT. We talked about conditional statements, right? If statements. Then we even talked about while loops, for loops, all that fun stuff. And then in the last lesson, we went over lists. We went super deep. Talking about how we can make a collection of data into one comprehensive data type. Super cool. So now we're just going to build off these lessons. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about functions, which you guys already know about because I covered that. Thanks to the super duper expert ChatGPT coming in for the win once again. You guys already know how to implement functions. But of course, we're going to go way more in depth in today's video. Talk about some of the professional ways to implement functions in your programming languages so that you look like a real pro. But of course, first things first, let's take a look at the program that we've been building from scratch, from day one. Of course, we got to make this all about blockchain. So this program right here is called Hello Blockchain. If you guys have been following along, we're almost up to 100 lines of code. Super cool. So what does this program do? Let's run it, see what it does. Boom, run, enter your name for the wallet. Charles Hoskinson, he is a whale, so he has a lot of ADA. TimeForDillon is wallet number 2. I'm a brokey blokey, I only got 10 ADA. Bingo bango. So what does this program do? Well, it's going to output the amount of ADA that we each have. So Charles has 1 million ADA. Gives us his seed phrase, which would be very nice to know right about now. And then, of course, it puts out TimeForDillon has 10 ADA, puts out my seed phrase. And then it's going to tell us how much ADA each one of us would have after staking to a stake pool for 1 year at 3.5% APY. Super cool. So as you guys can see, it implements the stake rewards. And then of course, Charles has more ADA. Little typo there. The Charles has more ADA. But of course, that's part of programming, right? Write the code, find the problems, and then fix them. So in today's video, we're going to just build off of this. In the last video, I told you guys what I want to do is fix the seed phrase so it's way more realistic. We can randomize these 24 words in the seed phrase, make it a lot more realistic. And then what we can do, instead of outputting the seed phrase, because that's super unrealistic, we can ask the user to tell us, word number 1, word number 4, word number 6. If you give us those 3 correctly, boom, we'll grant access to the wallet so you can send some funds. So that's what I want to do in today's video. Of course, I also want to make a lot more of this stuff into functions. A lot more of this code we can put into functions. Because as you guys already know, functions just allow you to reuse code with one easy line. Instead of, 64 of the same exact lines of code, we can just call the function once and bada bing, bada boom. Makes life a hell of a lot easier. So without further ado, let's jump into today's lesson. Just like last time, what I want to do is just, of course, fast forward through this lesson. You guys press pause, meet up with me at the end, and then we'll go ahead and implement what we learned in the program. So let's get it. Boom! So as you guys can see, we just finished up lesson number 6 talking about functions, and we just earned our very own certificate from sololearn.com for introductory Python. So if you guys made it this far, you guys are legends. You guys are now officially programmers. You get to get hired by Apple. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna have to work a lot harder if we want to get hired by Apple. But you got your very first certificate, so shout out to you guys. We learned quite a bit. We talked all about functions. We talked about list functions, and if you guys didn't realize, everything we've been doing is pretty much functions, from printing out data to taking input from the user, right? Setting integers as strings, all of that. Every time you use parentheses with a word before it, it's a function. So now we know how to make our own functions, how to combine functions, how to manipulate data with functions. So let's go ahead and claim this certificate. Boom. I'm gonna go ahead and look at that, TimeForDillon. Download it as a PDF. We'll go ahead and save that, put it in the file. Bingo bango. And now what we're gonna do is head on over to our Hello Blockchain program. We're gonna implement some of these new features into this program. So let's get it. Alrighty guys, so here we are back at Spider, our IDE for Python. And what I want to do, as you guys can see, I kind of cheated a little bit and did some programming off screen just to make sure that this works. So initially what I wanted to do was I wanted to import NLTK, the Natural Language Toolkit, which would allow us to pull words from a source of all the English words in the English dictionary. And then we could go through there and parse 24 random words. So that was my initial attempt at trying to implement a seed phrase that was a little more realistic than this, having it hard coded. So what I ended up doing was I did a little bit of digging, right? And I wanted to know how seed phrases are created. And I came across this awesome source called blockplate.com, which tells us all about how BIP 39 came to be. Now, BIP is the Bitcoin Improvement Proposal. It was the 39th Bitcoin Improvement Proposal. And in that proposal, that is how we came to have seed phrases. Now, the way that they do this is quite complex, and we're not going to go through all of that in today's video. Instead, what we're going to do is, I came down here and I managed to find this, the BIP 39 word list, which, of course, just like everything with Bitcoin and most other blockchains, is open source. So it takes you over here to GitHub. And if you guys don't know what GitHub is, don't worry, I will be making a video about GitHub in the future. It's basically a repository that allows you to store your code in one easy to use place that's open source, or you can control it so it's not open source, but most of the code on GitHub is open source. Like the entire code base of Bitcoin, 100% open source on GitHub. And I'm pretty sure Cardano is the exact same way. You could go on GitHub, take a look at the code. If you're smart enough to understand it, you can even create your own fork and create your own cryptocurrency based on that. That's how a lot of cryptocurrencies came to be. A lot of cryptocurrencies are forks of Bitcoin's code. But I digress. In today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to take this list of 2,048 words. These are the words that are used to create your seed phrase, your mnemonic 24 or 12 word seed phrase. We're going to do 24 words. And to do this, all you need to do is download this file, which you can do. Well, actually, what I did was I copied it, I put it into Google Docs, and I downloaded it as a TXT file. And then, of course, I came over into ChatGPT. Gotta love ChatGPT. And I asked it to go ahead and generate some code for me based on the BIP 39 word list. And literally, you could type that in verbatim. Can you make me, right, a 24 word random generated list of words based on, enter this link right here, and bingo bango, this right here is what it did. Actually, the first iteration was up here. Boom, where is it? This one right here. But then what I did was I asked it to actually upgrade this code to ensure that it only gives me new lists every time. So it does not reuse the same word in the 24 word seed phrase. So this is the code. I copied it, I brought it over here and tested it out in this little program that we wrote. Only 24 lines of code. So it imports random, which is the library that allows you to generate random values, random numeric values. Then we did open, right? With open, this will open up this English text document. Boom, save it as F. And then we're going to create words, which is a list of all these words. And it will separate them by the different line breaks. So boom, then 24 random words from the list. So random words equals, boom, create an empty list. Then while the length of random words is less than 24, right, because we only want 24 words to be stored in this list, what we're going to do is we're going to strip random words, right, from this right here, this list right here. We're going to strip words from there randomly. And then this little line of code right here, what it will do is it will make sure that as long as that word is not already in this list, we're going to go ahead and add it. If it is, then we're not going to add it. Boom. And then print out the random word. So that's how we got all these different seed phrases right here, you know, just testing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, copy this, boom, all of it. We're going to paste it into our own program. And what we're going to do first, actually, boom, come down here, and we're going to create a function. And we're going to call it create seed phrase. Boom, boom, boom. And actually, we will take this import random, and we'll put that at the top so that it is global.
Here's what I found.
Dude, Siri, get the hell out of here, dude. Okay, boom, boom, boom. We'll go ahead and, usually the imports are at the very top of your script. So we'll put that right there, import random. And we have our global variables for the APY and APY percentage. Boom, now the seed phrase right here, we're actually gonna leave that for now, but let's go ahead and make sure that our function is working. So with open English text, blah, blah, blah. Boom, 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 boom. Instead of printing, let's go ahead and return, right? We just learned about returning. So we're gonna return random words. Make sure you spell it right. Bingo, bango. And then what we're going to do is down here where we output the seed phrases, let's go ahead and call the function instead. So create seed phrase, create seed phrase, boom. Now we can delete these hard-coded seed phrases, and every time we run our function, now we are going to get randomly generated seed phrases. So much better. And let's go ahead and add a little comment. Randomly creates a 24-word seed phrase and returns the list. Returns it as a list. Boom. Save it. Now we can go ahead and run our function, and it should work beautifully. Boom. So you guys can see, enter your name for wallet, Charles. Boom. He has a lot. TimeForDillon, I only have 10. Boom, and there we go. Charles's seed phrase is blah, 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 blah. TimeForDillon has 10 ADA. My seed phrase is, boom, it's different than his. Now, there might be words that are the same. I don't know, I'm not going to go through and look. But it doesn't matter because we know that seed phrases work. Now, if you guys want to learn how 24-word seed phrases work, how they are the most secure way of securing your private keys, I will link a video to this guy that explains it in great detail. You guys should watch. But definitely, there's no way anyone's going to be able to crack this. And trust me, I even had the idea of, maybe we can create a program that will guess seed phrases. But that would be totally useless. And even if it did work, that would be theft. So let's not even go down that road. It's not worth your time. Trust me. So anyway, now our seed phrase is working. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and put all of this logic right here. I want to put this into a function. Now, how are we going to do this, right? Okay, so what I want to do is I want to make one function that will take input from the user and return the name as a string variable. Okay, so what we could do, that way we don't have to type this twice, right? Boom, take the name, right? And then take the name again down here, right? We could rewrite this code, right? Put it in one function and then call the function twice. It's so much easier. So let's go ahead and do this. Boom. Def take user name as input. Name. Boom. And this, what it will do is this. Let's go ahead and copy that. Paste it here. Boom. And then all we have to add to this is to return the name. Return name. Boom. Change this to name. Boom. Bingo. Bango. So we can store name1 equals take username, run it. Okay, cool. Now we call name1 equals take username as input. So as it's trying to store take username as input, that function call, into the variable name, what it's actually doing is it's coming up into this function right here, take username as input, and it's going to run through this block of code until we satisfy the conditions. Perfect. So this is how it works. Okay, so Charles, boom, and boom, we go to the next line. Perfect. So it works. So we can go ahead and end it there, because what we need to do now is boom, take the same exact function, the same exact line of code, next one for the wallet. We can copy that, or really cut it, come down here, make a new function, def take wallet balance as input. Boom, boom. We don't take anything in, and then boom, have the same exact thing here. We'll put wallet float, blah 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 blah, break, blah 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 blah, and then we can return wallet. Bingo, bango. Now we can do this. Wallet1 equals take wallet balance. Boom, boom, and now that should work too. Now what we can do is we can erase this. Name2 equals take username as input, and then down here boom, we could do wallet2 equals take wallet balance as input. Now this should work just how it was working last time, but what we did was we removed all that repetitive logic and we put it into functions. Now it's so much easier. We just call the function and it does those lines of code for us. So much easier, so much more efficient, so much easier to read, so much easier to fix if there's a problem. Let's go ahead and run it now. Name1 is Charles. He has 2 million ADA. Yeah, he's been stacking. TimeForDillon. Now I have 20. I've been stacking too. Okay, hold on. What happened? So print. Okay, that's because I'm printing. Print name1. La, 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 la. Let's see. Where are we? Unsupported operand types for plus, none type, and str. Okay, let's see. Well, instead of the break, what we need to do is get that, put it here, and then remove the break. And I'm sure this will work. Boom, cut, paste, save. Let's run this. D 32 C. There we go. Now it's working. Now it's working. Working perfectly. No need to cast anything. Just like that. Now we have our functions here. And they look like they are working great. So let's go ahead and add a comment. Boom. Takes user input for a name and returns it back to the main. Boom. Takes user input for wallet balance and returns it back to the main function. Bingo, bango. Okay, bing, bing, bing. There we go, looking good. Oh, I wanted to fix this earlier because it's outputting the C has more than D. No, it just needs to be the name. Name 2, like that. Boom, save it. Let's run this one more time, see if it works. Okay, Charles. He has a lot. Dylan only have that much. Boom. Charles has more ADA than Dylan. There we go. Now it's okay. So what I want to do now, let's ask ChatGPT. How do I make a main function in Python? Boom. There we go. Let's copy that. Bing, come on back. Now the main function is where all of this driving code will go, right? You got to have a main function. In that main function is where you will be calling the other functions. Now, of course, in other functions, you could have other functions that call other functions. You can even have functions that call itself. That's called recursion. And that's literally the basis of Haskell and all functional programming. We're going to get into that later. Don't worry. But it's pretty much common practice to have a main function. And that's where you do all of the driving code for your entire program. So all of this right here, right, taking the input, all of this is basically our driving code. This is what's going to drive all of our functions and our entire program. So all of this needs to go into a main function, right? Oh, let's actually leave that for now. Copy this, boom, boom, paste this here, and then of course all of this. Don't cut that. Paste it. Boom. Now that's our main function. Bingo, bango. And then this right here is just like we're calling main to start this bad boy up. Okay, so now we have everything in main. It's looking good. Let's just run it just to make sure. We have this little hello world. Actually, let's go ahead and change this. Hello. Blockchain. Save it. Let's run it again. Boom. Enter a name for wallet 1. Okay. Charles. He has a lot. TimeForDillon. Only have 10. Bingo bango. Now it's working. Looking good. We have everything in functions. It's beautiful. I mean, we could even put all of this to output. We could put all of this into functions too. I'm not going to do that right now. Alright, so we did a lot in today's video. I still have a lot more that I want to implement into this program, right? I mean, we have our seed phrases working. They look beautiful. They're totally randomly generated based on the BIP39 word list, which is, pat yourselves on the back, guys. You guys are doing fantastic. But what I want to do, I think, in the next video, and look at that, guys. We're past 100 lines of code. So shout out to you guys if you've made it this far. Really, this is a big accomplishment. You finished the introductory series to Python on sololearn.com. You have a certificate that you can show to your future employers. And you now have a program with 109 lines of code. That's pretty awesome. But in the next video, what I want to do, of course, we're going to start the next lesson on Python. I plan on getting past the intermediate stages of learning Python on sololearn.com before we actually start talking about blockchain development. Because a lot of this stuff is necessary. You need to know how to do this. And especially if you want to program on the Cardano blockchain, you need to learn Haskell, you need to learn Plutus. They're very related. They're pretty hard. But you have a good foundation so far, right? But in the next lesson, what I want to do is I want to implement a function that will allow a user to send ADA from one wallet to another wallet. And in order to do that, you're going to need to tell me 3 random words from your seed phrase in order to validate the transaction. That's what I want to do in the next lesson. But of course, we're slowly building on this project. Hello, blockchain. If you guys made it this far, you guys are awesome. That's all I have for you guys today. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys want me to implement into this program to make it better. And of course, I will see you guys in the next video. You guys have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are. Dylan is out.